you sent in your press kit, you have here FBI attacks on Black community programs. The FBI is attacking the ability of the Black community to feed, clothe, house, educate, and protect our community. You also go through FBI attacks on Black participation in the electoral space, and then you have FBI's war on African liberation, culminating in your case in the raid in July of 2022. So, in the what time we have left, I understand you have another call in about 10, 15 minutes, but do you want to just run down the history of what you're talking about there, about this sort of criminalization of not only Black radicalism, but really, as you guys explain it, Black community building, period? And then, explain how that relates to your case and the urgency of this moment. You're going to trial this year, as I understand, correct?
Yes, in September. Right now, we're scheduled for trial on September 3rd in Tampa, Florida. And people who want to keep up with that can go to handsoffuhuru, that's UHURU.org. And among the things that's happening that makes a mockery of this whole notion that they're fighting against us because we are Russian hirelings, is the attack that they've made on our economic institutions. The banks have begun to sanction us like a foreign country or something like that, hostile country. Banks that we've had more than 20 years of relationship with. We've never missed or been late with payments or anything like that, and sometimes paid them off early. They've notified us in one instance that we had 2 weeks to make an $80,000 payment on a mortgage. They've actually some individuals who had accounts with it. This is Regions Bank. They took the accounts down. People couldn't use that. The church right across the street from my house that was raided by the FBI on July 29, 2022, right across the street. We had it under contract that we were going to put community programs there. The church mysteriously caught a fire, burned down. I mean, these are some of the attacks, and other banks have done similar things to us. One of these, I've forgotten what it's called now. It's one of these internet programs that you can use to raise money with. And we had done this to raise money, GoFundMe, I think it was, for the defense. And they held, I think, something like $9,000 for months and refused to turn it over to us until we got a lawyer involved in it. So they made all of these assaults on us and using every entity that's possible, including armed forces. And when I say armed forces, I mean the attack that they made on my home, that I thought they were going to kill me and possibly my wife, the attacks that they made on my offices in St. Petersburg, Florida, and in St. Louis. They were very violent attacks, and we weren't charged with anything. Even after they did that, they handcuffed us and held us sometimes for hours while they searched our institutions and homes, and we weren't charged with anything. So we were characterized as unindicted co-conspirators, which with the Russian in Russia. They said the guys in Russia, and there's going to be an indictment later in the day, and this is going to be big news. This is what the FBI agent wanted me to know. This is going to be big news, and so they said that my name popped up in this indictment against the Russian, and if he comes to the United States, they're going to lock him up. And so anyway, we're handcuffed, zip tied, and what have you. It was an experience. And these are armed forces. These are not these. They are really. They used these laser targeting devices that you see on weapons. And most time people see it in the movie with these dots. That in my chest when I came downstairs at their command, 5 o'clock in the morning, pre-dawn. All over my chest, these dots. I thought they were going to kill me, like they killed Fred Hampton in 1969. And I was concerned about my wife. She opens the door finally to come out. We tried to call, let people know we were under attack, and she couldn't because the phones had been jammed. I mean, this is a hell of a, like operation that they've initiated against us. And we're in the most impoverished sector of St. Louis. This is an impoverished sector of St. Louis. They've taken over the porch next door. They put tape on the doorbell video so that nobody can see what it is that they're doing. They're occupying the space. They've cordoned off the space so that the whole community, the whole neighborhood is now blocked off and people can't move freely. This was the kind of assault that they made against us. And it's bogus. It's bogus on its face. It's bogus. And I'm glad you were able to show some of the pictures that you showed going way back, because they want to say, and they want to be able to put me on trial without allowing us to show that everything they charged us with doing, we've been doing for 50 years. And so they want to just start history with the Russians, et cetera. This is stuff we've been always doing, and I'm glad you were able to show that. And so anyway, that's the kind of thing that we're having to contend with. And we expect to be victorious. We're going to trial, as I said, on September 3rd. That's how it's scheduled now. We have two really important motions that we've put. We've asked the court to get rid of the indictment, to dismiss the charges against us, and the magistrate for that region, that district in federal district in Florida, I think it's the 2nd district in Florida, has disagreed with us and said that it doesn't matter, because we said we can bring experts who will unite with the position that we have on Ukraine. Another thing, they said doesn't matter. It says disinformation anyway. It's not disinformation because it's a lie. They said even if it's true, if it's something that works against the United States, and then it's working for the Russians. So this is the kind of stuff we have, and this is why it's so dangerous to everybody else, because they can say, if you have a position that's the same position that some other force has in the world, that the United States has declared to be an enemy at the moment, then they can charge you with working for that entity, which is what they've done with us. They said that over a 6-year period, we collected something like $7,000 from the Russians. This is just remarkable. We raised something like $250,000 for this trial alone, to get ready for this trial. We raised more. We raised like $10,000 in 2 hours a couple of weeks ago just to raise money for this trial. And they're saying that somehow over a 7-year period, we took $6,000 from the Russians, and that's part of the evidence they have that we work for the Russians, which is ridiculous, of course.
Please clap.